So I read and summarized more than 100 books, including Psychology of Money, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The Science of Getting Rich, The Habits, The Subconscious Mind, lot of books. But what I found that every book is good in its own genre, and it's difficult for the readers, for the listeners to find something practical based on the 100 books, uh, for which summaries are also available on my YouTube channel. This is something practical. You will learn that how you can be rich, and this is based on stories of millionaires, for example, those who were rich in earlier ages before the industrial age, those who are rich in current age, in digital age, in AI era. What we see, there is a process that starts with obviously mind. If those people who believe that they will become rich, good things happen to them, and this is not just a sentence, it is a method of training the subconscious mind. So there's a journey we will cover in this video, and you will find it most practical video. You can watch it during, you can listen it when you're sleeping, or you can watch it, you can make your notes. It's going to be extremely practical thing. So does not matter, you will watch it in one session, you can watch it again. Starting with the journey, what we will understand in this video is sort of complete course for you, and I'm sure after 1 year you will be a different person. You can come to this video, you can see that I made notes, I applied these things in my life, and now I'm a different person. So your journey will be, first of all, understanding your mind. If your mind says you cannot become rich, it's impossible. First you need to train your mind. So we will start with understanding your mind, what you are telling yourself, what is in your mind. Second thing is emotional intelligence mastery. What we have found that people get angry, people do not like to wait for the things, and generally they're not good in dealing with their emotions, not good in dealing with other people. That is something you need emotional intelligence mastery. We will learn in this course. This will be the second thing. Third thing is conquering the anger. So you need to utilize it to get better, to get rich. You will learn a great deal of things in this section. Fourth part will be the wealth mindset. Those people who are wealthy, they are not intelligent, they are not super intelligent, rather they have a mindset of wealth. So we will learn that. Fifth part is daily practices and habits that you need to do. We will also cover the spending habits, the buying habits. We will also see that how you can make strategic decisions. As I'm also PhD in management sciences, so I have studied, I'm teaching these things from previous 15 years. I worked in top multinationals, for instance, China Mobile, Telenor, they're $1 billion companies. So as their manager, I learned a lot of things. So we will be seeing that what are the daily practices and habits of those entrepreneurs and businessmen who made such big businesses. We will be seeing the obstacles, how we can overcome them. Obviously, my work with regulatory authorities, that will also be beneficial for you. Seventh part will be relationship and communication, because once Jesse Penny said that you can become rich through the friendships, and we can see the liaison between different government officials and billionaires worldwide that you need to establish. And part 8 is about advanced mental strategy. You need to convince your mind that you can do it. So I will be giving you examples. For example, the life of Elon Musk, when he said, when he sold the PayPal, he invested all his money in the Tesla. At one stage, he was about to go bankrupt in 2008, but because of the advanced mental strategies, he coped with all these things, and now he is the richest man on earth. And in part 9, we will be giving a complete action plan. So stay tuned, you will find this thing extremely useful. In your journey of becoming rich, in this practical video, this is the whole thing on which the whole video is based. The mind is everything, what you think you become. Let me tell you something. 90% of our daily thoughts are repetitive. So if your mind is telling you that you cannot do something, you cannot become rich, chances are it is sort of stimulating your actions. So we need to understand that most people run on autopilot, repeating the same negative patterns that keep them stuck. So you will not stay stuck because you are going to do this course. We will learn the mental clarity. First of all, you need to understand that you need to cut through all the noise and make your mind sharp. You need to be decisive, and you need to do the things that leads to the results. This is mental clarity. Don't worry, in this course we will complete everything. The second thing will be emotional power. You have to transform your emotions from weakness into fuel for unstoppable motivation. Motivation never comes from outside, it has to come from inside you. Third thing is anger mastery. Channel your anger into productive energy instead of self destructive obstacles or outbursts. And fourth steps will be wealth creation. When you will develop a mind of wealth creation, you will definitely attract a lot of wealth and long term success. So we will go towards the first thing, which is understanding your mind. The foundation of the success becomes with the self awareness. When you see someone becoming wealthy or rich, you will realize that this person knows himself extremely well. One of the things that made successful businessmen, successful content creators, successful statesmen was their self awareness. If you see Gandhi, if you see Clinton, all the people who made a great place in history, including Washington, they had highest level of self awareness. Now the practical part, that how you can become the architect of your self awareness. To understand that our mind has two portions. The first portion is conscious mind. So you are watching me through your conscious mind. What conscious mind does, it covers your thoughts, decisions, and the awareness. The second part is subconscious mind. This part covers your habits, beliefs, and automatic responses. Now you need to understand that our subconscious mind controls 90% of our daily behavior. So when you see someone smiling at you, but inside your mind you think that this person is not good, might be this thing is not good for me. So the reason is your subconscious is telling you, while doing any deal, when the salesman is telling you all the good things and telling you the benefits, and you think that no, this is expensive, or this will not perform as he is saying, then your subconscious is basically controlling your behavior. The friendships you decide, the people you stay with, the things you buy, 95% role subconscious plays. And that's where we need to program ourselves. Programming the subconscious is the key to the transformation. Now, when you will program yourself, the moment you understand yourself. So self awareness is the first step to taking back the control. Making it sort of more clear, thoughts shape reality. So every thoughts create a neural path in our brain. Whenever you learn something, a neural path sort of gets generated in our mind. Repeated thoughts become our beliefs. Beliefs drive your actions, and actions create your results. This is the pattern. So if you are not becoming rich after listening so many books, if you are not becoming rich after studying so many people, after getting degrees, the reason is that negative thoughts are shrinking your possibilities. Positive thoughts, if you have, they expand your opportunities. You can choose which to strengthen. Your brain rewires based on the focus. So our thoughts shape our reality once we understand it. Whenever you have a negative thought, sort of try to replace it with positive thought, especially when it comes to your personal goals. Because about others, we cannot control their things. How your boss will behave with you, this is not controllable because his thought process is also part of it. but how you behave with yourself, how you thought about yourself is something you can control. And that's our core thing we need to cover. So you have to have all the time positive thoughts about you so that you have positive opportunities in your life. You are attracting positive opportunities. Watch your thoughts, they become your words. Watch your words, they become your actions. The thought to wealth pipeline. Now this is where action comes, and this is where this video is for. This video is different from other videos. First of all, you need to understand that every creation starts as a single thought in your mind. For instance, this video I'm creating first was a thought, and then I summarized more than 100 books, and then through those 100 books I made a template that what works for others and why everybody is not finding something concrete, something practical towards wealth or richness. So this was the thought based on which you can see the product which you are watching. Second thing was my belief. I read so many books that I love every book. I love Rich Dad Poor Dad, read it more than 100 times. I am a government employee. I have a stable income. I'm myself financially stable person. So what I realized that over the time that I need to have an emergency fund, I need to have expenses of my 10 to 12 years. After that, I can follow my heart. I will not run after so many things. So what happened that the thoughts I had became my belief. And in every video you see when I teach financial things, I also see them in my personal life. So repeated thoughts become unshakable beliefs. So imagine if I was reading something negative, if I was listening to other people, then definitely I would have thought that this is not possible. It is extremely impossible to have emergency fund in this inflation age. It's impossible to have 10 years savings for my family expenses in this current age, in this age as a young man. But I never thought about it. I thought it's possible. So out of my many colleagues, they think in the negative way, you see negative things happening with them. When you think in positive way, you will see positive thing happening in your life, because your thoughts again and again when repeated in your mind, they become your belief. So your pipeline is that you need to create the positive thoughts and positive beliefs, and then you need take the action. So I have a strong belief that the video I'm creating, the course we are creating, is extremely useful for you. If not, I would have never created it. So my actions basically, they fuel consistent bold actions. So you have a positive belief, and then that positive belief is converting into an action, and finally the results happen. Aligned actions create wealth and success. So let me clear it for you. If you are a person in your 30s and you have the thoughts that I cannot do this thing, first of all you need to convince yourself that you can do it. How those people who did it, they were not special, they were not more intelligent. Just because they thought they can do it, they did it. So if you continuously repeat this thing, you have the thoughts of positivity about yourself, it will become your belief, and those beliefs will definitely push you to act, and finally it leads to the results. Now, as a human, we have 70 thoughts per day. You have approximately 70,000 thoughts daily. The question is that how many thoughts are serving you? Now, you have to see that cognitive distortions that keep you poor. First thing is that all or nothing thinking. If it's not perfect, it's a failure. You have to never think about it, because the universe works in such a way that it always believes in action. You can see the seed becoming a plant. So we find a lot of the seeds, they do not become a complete plant, but we have never found the seed not working. So the universe works in such a way that if you see humans, if you see plants, if you see everything, that it is based on consistent repetitive process. It follows a pattern. So you have to also think in such a way that if a thing is not delivered in a perfect way, it is not a failure. It is a step forward to achieving the greatness. So you do not need to have the cognitive distortion that my product, if I'm as a businessman, is not the best product. It's okay if it's not the best product. You need to send it to the people in the market. They might say it is the best product. So for instance, when phone was launched first time, when laptops were launched first time, they were not in the shape we see these things today. There's one book, The Lean Startup, I summarized in 100 books. I learned from that book, and through working with top 10 multinationals in the world, in tech sector, in telecom sector, I have learned one thing, and that is you need to be the first mover. You need to create things. Your customers will teach you, your people will teach you. But if you're sitting on something, waiting for the perfect time, if you're sitting on a product and thinking that it's going to be the best product, chances are that you are in the stage of cognitive distortion. You need to get rid of that. Second thing is the catastrophing, expecting the worst scenarios always. Never do that. Even if my video, if this course is watched by one person, then for me it is a success. So I have to think that what I'm learning, I all the time think about the positive side of my work. As a teacher, I have 1300 students in my department. I believe that every 1300 student has the potential to exceed me, to become rich, to become wealthy. So what I have done over the years, trained my thoughts to think positively. So one can think that, oh, he has so many students and they can do anything negative, and it's going to create bad repute for the department. So people thinking that we must not increase the population, the crimes will increase. We must not use the internet because there are crimes, cyber crimes. So you have to never thought about the worst case scenario. When you see the billionaires, millionaires, they always thought about the positive side. They never thought about the negative side. The Uber, when Uber was created, the Uber founder never thought that one day the rider will be cheating with the driver. So he never thought about it. He always thought that how many people at this stage are watching for a car, they need a car, and there are people, they can sort of give them ride and the get the money for that. So you have to think about the positive side, never think about the worst case scenario. Third thing is mind reading, assuming that others think negatively of you. So this thing you have to all the time not do. Emotional reasoning, I feel broke, I must be broke. No, you must feel wealthy even when you are broke. Filter only, seeing negatives, ignore all the wins. You have to see your positive wins. For example, if I was you, by now you have learned a lot of things. You can simply teach these things to someone else. So if I was you, I could see, okay, I can listen, such a great blessing I have. I can speak, such a great blessing I have. I can see, such a great blessing I have. Maybe you have a mobile phone. That is something, you are connected to the world. You can simply post something that can go to the million people. So in every situation, you have to see the positive side. This is the core thing. The cognitive distortions, we have to remove these are keeping us poor. Now this is something I picked from the Subconscious Mind. It's a wonderful book. I learned a lot of things from it, and a lot of CEOs read it and they recommend this book to their employees. There are two type of minds. One is the fixed mind and other is the growth mindset. Now the fixed mindset, what it does, it avoids challenges, it gives up easily, it sees efforts as pointless, it ignores the criticism, and it is threatened by others' success. What growth mind does, it sort of welcomes the challenges. It persists throughout the setbacks. No matter what happens, every other day is a success day, and choose every other day as something that will work for you. The positive mind all the time, the positive mindset sees the efforts as mastery path, and it learns from the criticism, and it gets inspiration from the success of others. So we must have the growth mindset to be wealthy and rich. So there are 48 laws of success that you must understand so that your every thought is working for you. Your every thought is making you rich. The first thing is law of focus. Whatever you focus on expands. You focus on negativity, it expands. You focus on positivity, it expands. You focus on fears, it expands. So always focus on the positive side. The second law is the law of substitution. You can replace any negative thought with a positive thought instantly. So the positive thought you must all the time have is that I can have the wealth. Everything happened to me is a learning, and my next step will be definitely achieving the success. The third thing is law of habit. Any thought repeated one enough becomes automatic and effortless. So your wealth creation process must be effortless. And the fourth thing is law of attraction. This is the most dominant thought. Those people who think they can become rich, they eventually become rich and wealthy. There's one famous quote about it. Your mind is a garden. Your thoughts are seeds. You can grow flowers or you can grow weeds. The next part is emotional intelligence mastery. I'm sure now you have the positive mindset. Now we will focus on the emotional intelligence mastery. Your EQ, emotional quotient, determines your net worth more than your IQ. 90% of the top performers has higher emotional intelligence. Research shows emotional intelligence is the strongest predictor of workplace performance. Those people who are emotionally intelligent, they do things really well. Now there are five pillars that work for you if you are emotionally intelligent person. First thing is self-awareness. You need to recognize your emotions as they arise, name them accurately. Second thing is the self-regulation. You have to control your impulses, choose response instead of reacting. Third thing is motivation. Use your emotions as fuel. Stay driven through the adversity. Empathy is extremely important that read others' emotion, build deeper connections. And fifth thing is emotional intelligence itself. You have to all the time be respectful, be forgiving to yourself so that you focus on self awareness, you focus on self regulation, you focus on motivation, you focus on others. Five emotions that control the money. Fear causes you to avoid risk that can multiply your wealth. Greed makes you chase bad investments and lose everything. Third thing that controls your money, and obviously envy drives spending on things to impress people you do not like. Shame keeps you from asking for the raise or promotion you deserve. Anxiety paralyzes decision making when opportunity knocks. So you need to control your emotion. For example, you have to understand your fear that is keeping you in a backside. Your business is not growing, you are not getting the promotion, why you are fearing. Second thing is greed. Whenever any investor made any decision based on greed, it resulted into some negative investment. Envy is something that sort of pushes you to spend money on things you should not, and never be have the shame to ask for a raise, ask for a promotion. And whenever you have some anxiety, ensure to tell others that you have some anxiety related problems, and you will be able to see the opportunity. So these are the emotions you need to control. Emotional triggers, what is worst source of response you need to have. There are triggers, for example, someone criticizes your idea, you get reactive, get defensive, argue back, but you will not do that. You have to be responsive. You need to listen him, evaluate his response and adopt and give him a positive feedback. What will happen? The result will be growth, respect for others. The trigger can be a business deal falls through. Reaction should can be you blame others, you give up, and response should be analyze, learn, and pivot. If you analyze, learn, and pivot, the result will be better deals in the future. Anyone can become angry. That is easy. But to be angry with the right person, to the right degree, at the right time, for the right purpose, that is not easy. Emotional intelligence mastery techniques, these are four techniques. If you cover, you can cover all your emotions, you can control all your emotions. First thing first, name it to tame it. Label your emotion precisely. I'm feeling frustrated, reduces its intensity by 50%. When you say that I have sort of this emotion, fear, anger, frustration, shame, so when you define it, it is 50% solved. So you need to name it to tame it. The second thing is 6-second pause. Emotions lost only 6 seconds chemically. Pause before responding to any trigger. Reframe the story. Change, this is happening to me, this is happening for me. You have to shift the perspective. Nothing is happening to you, it is happening for you to make you successful. And the fourth one is body mind reset. Change your physical state, breathe, move, and there's an motion, you can easily control it. So the emotional wealth formula. The first thing is awareness. Notice what you feel without judgment. The second thing is acceptance, allow the emotions without trying to fix it. And the third thing is you need to analyze, you need to understand why you feel this way, and then choose a response aligned with your goals. Review what worked and refine your approach. 29,000 more per year you can earn if you have high emotional intelligence. Emotionally reactive versus emotionally intelligent. So if there's a reactive person, what he will do, he will blame the circumstances. He is controlled by feelings, he makes impulsive decisions, he burns the bridges in anger, he lives paycheck to paycheck. Intelligent person, what he does, he takes full responsibility, manages emotions wisely, makes strategic decisions, build lasting relationships, build the generational wealth. So the third step is out of our nine portion is the conquering anger, transforming your greatest liability into your most powerful asset. No doubt, anger is something that is a liability, but you can convert it into an asset through this course. So, annual cost of anger is 1.9 trillion US dollars. Anger related issues cost the global economy near 2 trillion in lost productivity. Basically, anger is secondary emotion. It marks hurt, fear, and frustration. It signals not a solution, listens to what it's telling you. Anger releases cortisol and adrenaline, shutting down logical thinking. Chronic anger literally shrinks your brain or frontal cortex. Understanding anger is the first step to mastering it. Anger response cycle. So, trigger anything happens to you, an event activates your emotional brain. So, the second stage comes of surge that your hormones they flood your system in millisecond, that is in the 6 seconds. Your reaction should be based on the awareness, as now you know that your emotions they last for 6 seconds. If you control yourself for 6 seconds, chances are that you act impulsively, yell, blame, attack within 6 seconds. If you respond, if you do not respond within 6 seconds, then you will not respond. But if you responded, what you will do, you will regret. Chemicals fade, damage is done, relationship is damaged. So our anger practical solution is that first of all we need to understand it, why it is coming, what is the trigger, and then we need to see that what surges it and what is the reaction, and if we act on it we regret. So we need to control our anger. For every minute you remain angry, you give up 60 seconds of peace of mind. Anger hidden cost. So obviously anger sort of destroys your health. It damages your career. 99% of the young people, they fight with the boss and they lose the job. Obviously it causes the relationship loss. It all the time leads to bad investments. They definitely ruin your financial situation. Anger, there are few myths and facts. You can see wanting anger helps release it. Some people are just angry by nature. Anger gives you power over others. You cannot control your anger. These all are myths. The reality is that venting actually increases anger intensity. Anger is learned response, not a genetic thing. You will find a lot of people, their father is sort of famous as an angry person, rather notorious as an angry person, and you will find his son is calm and composed person. It's about the learning you do. Anger destroys trust and influence. It never help you control others. You can choose your response every day, and it must always be calm, composed, well thought. So 5 steps of anger diffusion system. First of all, you need to stop. We know that anger stays for 6 seconds. We will not respond till 6 seconds. Freeze your body. Do not speak. Do not move. The second thing is breathe. Take 3 low deep breaths to activate calm response. And then you identify the real emotion underneath the anger. Maybe sometimes you're angry because you are feeling shame. Sometimes you are angry because you have a fear. So you need to define the emotion. Once you define the emotion, you can select the response with your long-term goals. If it is sort of shame, then definitely you need to cover it and you need to find the right solution. And you need to find the answer of the response, that what this shame is causing you, and you have to solve it. For example, you have 6 colleagues, all of them got a raise, and you somehow were not selected for the raise. Now you can get angry and fight the boss. The other thing is when you realize, oh, this is not basically because of the I'm angry, it is behind it. It is my shame that I never asked for a raise. So you can control this thing, that I need to talk to my boss that I also need a raise. So that talking to him can generate something for you, rather than you getting angry and yelling at the boss. Definitely you will not get a raise. You might lose your job as well, because if you act on based on the anger. What we learned is the anger diffusion system, so that this best thing, the best energy of anger we have, we use it for our benefit. 10 seconds, the power of pause. It just takes 10 seconds for conscious breathing to reduce anxiety by intensity of any anger by 40%. How anger destroys versus build wealth. Uncontrolled anger, what happens? People every day quit jobs impulsively because of the anger. They make revenge driven decisions. They alienate business partners. They spend money to feel better. They lose negotiation leverages because of the anger. On other side, those people who manage their anger, what they do, they feel uh, the frustration, but they use it as a motivation. They prepare themselves. They prove doubters wrong with the results. They build resilience and grit. Grit is something, your willpower to do the things. They invest anger energy into work, and they negotiate with the calm strength. That is the channeled anger you need to understand. Our fourth part is about wealth mindset. By now you have 3 things. You know yourself, you know your mindset, and now you have a positive mindset. The second thing is you understand your emotions and you know how to respond to emotions. In the second layer of the emotion comes anger. You know you can control your anger. So now I'm talking to a person who has a positive mindset, who has self awareness, and who can control his anger. Welcome to the wealth mindset. Now you have the stability to become a rich person. I quoted Robert Kiyosaki here. The only difference between a rich person and a poor person is how they use their time. The psychology of wealth we must understand. Rich people think in a decades, poor people think in days. Wealth starts as a mental concept before becoming physical. Your money thermostat is set by your subconscious beliefs. Scarcity thinking repels money, abundance thinking it attracts. Every financial problem is actually a thinking problem. Now, 80% of the millionaires are first generation. We are realizing that even those who were millionaires in the previous age, their sons, their kids could not sustain it because they could not get the wealth mindset. The majority of the wealthy people build their fortune through mindset, not inheritance. So we need to see the four wealth killing emotions. First thing is fear of failure. Because of failure, people stay in the comfort zone, and every successful person failed hundreds of times. First, they broke their comfort zone, and now we see them successful. So, first thing you need to kill, and that is the fear of failure. The second thing is imposter syndrome, makes you uncharged, undervalue, and underestimate your worth. Never underestimate your worth. You can do anything. The richest person on earth is not intelligent than you, smarter than you. He's just taking more risks. He's just taking positively about himself. He has trained his subconscious in a better way. The third thing is instant gratification. Never do it. Several studies I read, I teach my students as I'm a public sector university professor. So we see that people want instant gratification, instant results. Small players today destroy massive wealth tomorrow. Comparison trap is the fourth wealth killing emotion. Spending too much for others, looking good in their eyes, having a lifestyle. This is comparison trap. No one go for it. Build your wealth thermostat. There are four steps. First, you need to audit that, identify your current money beliefs, where did they come from. Then you need to challenge every limiting belief. Is it actually true? And third place, you have to replace it. Install new beliefs. Daily affirmations and evidence can help, and reinforce. Surround yourself with the people who think abundantly. Never think in sort of scarcity. This universe have so much that every person will get the desired result. Still, there will be more wealth. Poor thinking versus rich thinking. You need to understand. Poor think that money is the root of all the evil. This thing I took from Rich Dad Poor Dad, thanks to Robert Kiyosaki. I cannot afford it. Rich people are lucky. Money does not grow on trees. The rich thinking is that money is a tool for good. How can I afford it? They ask their mind. This is the most important part in Rich Dad Poor Dad, that you need to put your mind and work all the time. Rich people are disciplined. Money flows to value creators. It is not about how much money you make. It is about how much money you keep and how hard it works for you. Seven money habits of self-made millionaires. Pay yourself first. Save, invest before spending on anything. I have 1400 business students. A lot of them graduated. They are doing businesses, who are working in public sector. They made a good fortune for themselves. I all the time advise them that always invest on yourself, not in clothing. I mean, you have to invest in the clothing, but not only in clothing, in lifestyle, but also in your mind. So read books, uh, listen to the great people. You sort of get inspired from them. So pay yourself first. Second thing is, live below your means. Luxury comes after financial freedom. So I told you that something I did with myself, that I am financially free. I have so much wealth that I can decide what to do. I decide the things based on my passion. It's not that I have not worked. I have worked for 20 years in the multinationals, and I ensured that I have enough money that if I survive till the age of 60, my expenses are covered through my passive income. So I lived all the time below my means to accumulate such wealth. The third thing is invest in yourself, in your skills, in your knowledge, and you will get the highest return on investment. Create multiple income stream, never depend on one source. And gratification you have to delay, you have to sacrifice for experiential returns, for the exponential results. 10x compound effect, small daily improvements of 1% lead to being 37 times better in 1 year. Now, our fifth thing is the daily practice habits. Excellence is not an act but a habit. Build your daily rituals. The power of morning routine. 5 a.m. wake up. This is most important thing. Rise before the world. This is your competitive advantage. Second morning routine you must have. You need to meditate for 15 minutes. Silence the mind, build awareness, set your mental state. Get all the angry removed, frustration, anger, fear. Think of everything. We never think about ourselves. This is the worst thing. And you have to give yourself 15 minutes. Think about the things and make your thinking positive. Exercise for 30 minutes, move your body, release endorphins, build discipline, and visualize 10 minutes. See yourself going into the position where you want to be. Meditation, your mental gym. Just 10 minutes daily rewires your brain for calm clarity, reduces cortisol, stress hormone by 25% in 8 weeks, increases gray matter in decision making brain regions. Billionaires, like different billionaires, they sort of daily meditate. Start with guided meditation apps if you are a new beginner. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, it is not an act but a habit. So there are four pillars of daily mastery. First thing is mind training, then body optimization, skill building, and relationship investment. Journaling for emotional mastery is extremely important. Write three things you are grateful for daily, record emotional triggers and responses, track wins no matter how small, write your goals in present tense. Review weekly for patterns, process anger safely on paper, clarify decisions through writing, build evidence for your growth. 21 days to build a habit. If you consistently do one thing, you sort of develop a neural path in your brain, and for 66 days, if you do it continuously, it becomes something automatic. Your subconscious helps you to do it. So the evening wind down ritual. Review your day, what went well, what can you improve, practice forgiveness, release anger or resentment from the day, plan tomorrow, write your top three priorities before sleeping, digital detox, no screens 1 hour before bed for deeper sleep, gratitude each day, acknowledge your blessings. Successful daily routine versus average routine. Successful person wakes up 5 a.m. with a purpose, meditate and exercise, read, learn 1 hour daily, plan day around top priorities, review and reflect each evening. Average person hits snooze multiple times, check social media immediately, watch TV in free time, react to others' agendas, fall asleep scrolling phone. Discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most. Overcoming obstacles. So obviously, if you are in this stage, you're still watching this video, this part is going to be the most interesting part, because this is where it gets practical. Most people quit because they mistake temporary discomfort from permanent pain. They compare their chapter 1 to someone's chapter 20. They let one failure define their entire identity. They surround themselves with people who normalize mediocrity. They lack a compelling why that's bigger than their obstacles. 10,000 hours to mastery. Every expert was once a beginner. The only difference is that they did not quit. So, four types of obstacles we have. First is mental block, self doubt, fear of failure, limiting beliefs, the invisible chain that holds you back. You need to sort of remove this obstacle. You can do anything. Second thing is emotional storms. You have anxiety, depression, anger, feeling that cloud judgment and drains energy. Environmental barriers, toxic relationships are environmental barriers, and knowledge gap. Obviously, you sometimes do not have the skill, so you need to also work on your skill. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Obstacle elimination framework. You first need to identify it. Name the specific obstacle clearly. What is sort of stopping you to become rich or wealthy? Vague problems have no solutions. You need to identify the problem clearly. Secondly, you need to understand that is it real or it's imaginary. 80% things we fear are imaginary. And one of my teacher he used to tell me that those people who fear actually they are worrying before things happen. So they worry twice, once in their thoughts and then when things happen. And in 90% of the cases, worst things we think never happen. So you need to understand that what is the obstacle and then you need to analyze it, that is it imaginary or is it real. Third thing is strategize, plan a solution, work on ROI, and then execute, implement it through proper course of action. Fear of failure versus fear of regret. So whatever in your life is happening, you want to take some action. You must think it this way, that if you do the fear of failure, you will have short term safety, but you will regret in the long term. What if I fail? Staying in comfort zone. But when you sort of face the fear, you have short term comfort but long term fulfillment. What if I succeed? Growing beyond limits. Building unshakable resilience. Reframe failure as a feedback. Every no gets you closer to that. Yes, build a failure resume. List your biggest failures and what they taught. Dot the next play mentality. Move immediately after setbacks. Practice voluntary discomfort, cold shower, fasting, hard workouts. Remember, diamonds are made under pressure, not comfort. 10,000 plus rejections before success. There are a lot of people, Disney, Alpha, they were rejected 1,000 times. So never sort of think that the rejection is a bad thing for you. It is basically the way. Once you remove it, you will find that this was the way. I was supposed to face this obstacle, and the reason I'm successful because I somehow got rid of that obstacle. I have not failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that won't work. Relationships and communication. Your network is your net worth. Master the art of human connection. 80% of the financial success comes from the people skills. So you will find lots of the research papers that institute wrote that people become wealthy because of their relationships. Emotional control in relationships is something that keeps you wealthy, that sort of matures your relationships. Never make important decisions when angry. Wait 24 hours. Listen to understand, not to respond. This build trust instantly. Use I feel statement instead of you always. That sort of avoid you to put in the situations where you accuse or blame others. Set boundaries without building walls. Protect your energy wisely. Forget quickly. Resentment is poison you drink hoping others die. Toxic communication versus powerful communication. Toxic is you are always wrong, interrupting constantly, sarcasm, passive aggression, silent treatment, blame, criticism. The powerful is I see it differently, active listening first, direct and honest feedback, open discussions, ownership, and solutions. Be selective with who you give your energy to. Not everyone deserves a front row seat in your life. So, four types of the people in your life: the mentors, the teachers, people ahead of you, people who pull you up. Invest heavily in these relationships. Peers and partners, mostly at your level, who challenge and support mutual growth. Students and mentees, people you lift, teaching reinforces your own mastery. And energy vampires, people who drain you, get rid of them as early as possible. So the art of difficult conversation is that you have to prepare for those conversations. Calm yourself first, never enter a talk while emotionally. So you have to be emotionally in control, calm, then you have to talk. Difficult conversation must be done in a calm way. Secondly, start with appreciation, common ground to lower the defenses. Thirdly, express your perspective with facts and feeling, not accusations. And finally, you need to resolve to seek a situation where there is a win-win. Then these relationships sort of make the partnerships. You can start businesses with the person if you can have difficult conversations with him or her. How anger destroys relationships. Anger mostly creates a culture of fear and silence, erodes trust, or over time causes people to walk and makes children anxious and insecure. So drive, when you sort of control your anger, it uh, sort of removes the toxicity in the work. It sort of makes your professional things professional. So you have to sort of control on the anger. This is the reason I made a separate part on anger. I'm sure you can understand it and you will be able to control it after this course. Building your success network. Join mastermind groups, surround yourself with the ambitious thinkers. Offer value first, give before you ever ask for anything, be genuinely curious about others' stories and goals, follow up consistently. Relationship require maintenance, cut ties with anyone who constantly drains your energy. You are the average of the five people you spend your time with. And our eighth thing is the advanced mental strategies. Elite performers use these techniques to separate from the pack. Visualization, the secret of champions. Olympic athletes visualize their performance before competing. Your brain cannot distinguish vivid imagination from reality. Visualize your success for 10 minutes every morning. Include all senses, see, hear, feel, smell. You achieve the goal. Visualization premise your brain to recognize opportunities. Neuro-linguistic programming basics you need to understand. First thing is anchoring, create a physical trigger. uh, First, clinch link to a peak emotional state you can activate anytime. Reframing, changing the mind of any situation. I was fired because I was free to find my purpose. So you have to reframe yourself thoughts. Then modeling, and then future pacing. To 66% ROI on mental training if you visualize well. The mind in its own place and itself can make a heaven of hell or a hell of heaven. So I always appreciate Stoics on emotional control. They say that whatever happens, first perceive it, then process it, then act, then accept. Stoics are always ready to accept the worst case scenario. And somehow it is interpreted that they sort of handle every situation because they see things objectively, not emotionally. So that is first thing, that you have to perceive things objectively. Then you have to process it, that is it in my control? If not in my control, then why I should worry? It's up to others. So then you can take the actions just for the sake of good. And finally, you have to accept whatever happens. So biohacking is something I have all the time focused in this course. You must also practice it and you will learn it works. So first thing is box breathing. 4 seconds in, four hold, four out, four hold, instant calm. So if you are in anger situation, if you are in confronting someone, you have to sort of practice it. Power posing, 2 minutes in confident pose raises testosterone 20%. Gratitude is something that you need to all the time have. Digital fasting is extremely important. Get rid of the phone notification, negative things. Nature exposure, 20 minutes in nature drops your cortisol level by 13%. Now, scarcity mind versus abundance mindset. You all the time need to have the abundance mind. Scarcity mind is something that makes you negative. So there's not enough for everyone. Someone else wins in my loss. I need to hear how hoard or protect. Opportunities are rare. Money is hard to make. These are all negative things. Positive things are there are more than enough. There's more than enough for all. Others win, inspire my own. I give freely and attract one. Opportunities are everywhere. Money flows to those who serve. So this is something you need to think. And this is something that really works, I believe in. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our responses. The last one is your action. And it is something practical, I hope. Knowledge without action is just entertainment, it's time to execute. So, what you need to do in the 30 days transformation plan we have, week one, you need to trigger your awareness. Track emotions daily, journal triggers, identify your top three patterns. Week two, tools. Practice breathing, meditation, reframing daily, build the toolkit. Week three, apply, use tools in real situation, handle one difficult conversation calmly. Week four, master, review the progress, refine the strategies, set 90-day wealth goal. So daily non-negotiables. Morning walk is non-negotiable. Physical exercise 30 minutes is non-negotiable. You have to do it. Gratitude practice, three things you are thankful for morning and night. Every day you have to remember. Learning or read, listen, watch something that grows you. And evening reflection is that watch your emotions, what controlled you, and how you can improve it. Setting wealth goals at work, be specific. I will earn this amount. Maybe I wrote the small amount, 1,50,000 by December 31st, not what I want more money. You have to clearly write your goal. Secondly, be measurable. Track it daily, income, saving, rate, investment, returns. Be emotional. Connect the goal to the D feeling, freedom, security, legacy, logic, fail, and emotion persistence. Be accountable. So if you're not achieving it, you have to sort of not repeat it. This is something you have to do with yourself. A goal without a plan is just a wish. Your mind control toolkit. You have to stay calm, meditation, journaling, breathing, visualization. So you have to have sort of cold exposures, willpower building, gratitude practicing, affirmations, physical exercise, so that you stay positive and you achieve things. 1% better every day. Just improve 1% daily and you will be 37 times better in 1 year. Common mistakes you need to avoid at any cost. Trying to change everything at once, this does not work. Focus on one habit at a time. Expecting instant result, delayed gratification is the way forward. Transformation takes time. Going it alone, find a mentor or community for support. Being too hard on yourself, never do it. Progress is not linear. Be compassionate. Stop when it gets hard. This is exactly when growth happens. Where you are versus where you are going. So your current state is that you are reactive to emotions, you were controlled by anger, you are afraid of failure, thinking small, stuck in the comfort zone. You are going to responsive and intentional stage, master of emotional state, embracing calculated risk, thinking abundancy, and growing through the challenges. The wealth building emotional cycle contains of four steps. Extremely simple. First, calm your mind, clear your vision, bold actions, and massive results. Success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. If you love what you are doing, you will be successful. Your daily affirmations, you must repeat every day. You can save these. I am in complete control of my thoughts and emotions. I respond to challenges with calm strength and wisdom. Money flows to me easily because I create massive value. I release all anger and replace it with focused determination. Every day, in every way, I am becoming richer and more successful. Four things will be your transformation pillars in this journey you must understand. First, mind mastery. Control your thoughts, control your beliefs, control your actions, control your destiny. It starts here. Once your thoughts are controlled, definitely your beliefs gets controlled, and then your actions will also be controlled, and then definitely you will reach the destiny. Your thought must be that every person can be rich, I can be rich. So if you repeat it daily, it will become a belief, and belief will definitely will sort of stimulate your subconscious mind to take the decisions that generate the wealth. And once you do those things daily, then definitely it becomes your destiny. Emotional power. Emotions are energy, channel them towards your goals instead of letting them control you. Anger, alchemy, transform anger in ambition, let frustration fuel your fire for success. Wealth creation is extremely important. A calm, focused mind takes better financial decisions than a frustrated one. So Nelson Mandela said that the greatest glory in living lies not in never failing, but is raising every time we fall. And this is all. Master your mind, master your life. Your journey to wealth and success starts with the next thought you choose. Now build your empire. First thought you must be I can be wealthy. I have all the skills. I have all the guts to become wealthy. See you in the next lecture next month. Thank you.